Okay, let's see here. I've got too much going on in front of me. Oh, exhausted. Kind of wish I was sleeping, but I've been woken up twice already, so here we are. Okay. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. What is this? This is not my workspace. Do 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 do. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure where I left off. Excuse me. I'm not entirely sure where I left off last night. Very tired. I believe this here is kind of where I ended it. At this particular point. I guess it doesn't matter if we start all the way over here, but what we actually want to do... We're baking. So... I don't know if it'd be good... Which would be better? To create a node and remove it? Or to move an existing node? Let's... Well, this is actually quite interesting now that I'm thinking. Because we have a navigation area collision shape. We have our navigation area. And here we are iterating through everything. We could... I am wondering... Do I need to spawn... a collision? I mean, I probably should. Yeah. Do I need to spawn a new node every single time? And the answer to that, I believe, is going to be a yes. So I think what I want to do is... create my cell IDX. So var cell IDX equals, and this here is going to be a int vector 3 vector 3i, sorry. And that is going to equal... Why is my GitHub Copilot not working? Oh, that's gonna be a reason. Here, just bear with me for a minute. I want to make sure I don't leak any credentials. What, 8,000 kilobytes is low? Just bear with me for a second. I think I can bring this back. It says that my subscription has ended. It's kind of annoying trying to figure this out. I don't want to before I upgrade. I just want to know what I have. I must not have it at the moment. I don't know. Completion should still work though at this point in time. There we go. See here, var cell ID x equals vector 3i equals vector 3i delta x, y, and z. Var nav cell equals nav cell dot new. Yes, that is correct. Perform collision checks here to set nav cell properties. I want to see where this takes me. Navigation data raw cell ID x equals the nav cell. That's fine. Oh, okay. So this is basically where it's taking me. We get rid of this pass and we get rid of this pass as well. This here is saying to do my collision checks. It doesn't know how I want to do my collision checks, so maybe that's why it didn't give me any completion. I do want to drink some coffee here. Oh. Let's see what we're working with. See here, navigation area GD80. Say what now? Are you just complaining because I haven't saved anything yet? So what's the issue over here? Expected expression for variable initial value after equals. Area navigation line 80. What? Parser, expected expression for variable initial value after equals. Yes. Would you like to expand or what? Expected expression for variable initial value after equals. Int. Method description. Okay, so this is fine. Can I just ignore? Oh. Can I just ignore it? I mean, the short answer is yes, I suppose. That is an amazing cup of coffee. Oh, okay, it's not complaining anymore. Cool. Okay, so I think what I need to do. I mean, I have options. I wonder if I should do a sparse voxel tree. That would require learning. As far as Foxhole Octree. Hmm. Why do I have to scan CNG fan? Why do I have to create my own damn shit? This thing keeps. I'm using Chat GPT for help, and it keeps referencing A star graphs. I have no idea what that is. Oh shit. Now, I do. I'm thinking about doing like maybe like an octree approach. I know previously I was going to do a cell approach, but the issue with the cell approach is that if the cell is too big, then a certain area, like if the cell is bigger than the agent the agent bounds will often not see a particular area as navigable. And so what I'm thinking about doing is an octree with a min size. That's actually the better route to go, is an octree with a min size. Labs into navigation clusters. I know this says not to do it, but I think I'm gonna do it anyways. I'm gonna do it anyways. Okay. I know I kind of went into this a little bit. Down this cell path, I think I'm gonna do the octree version. Navigation. I'm gonna do some changes here because we have navigation. I'm gonna say create new folder. I'm gonna call this here cell navigation, and that's just gonna move these into here. Control save. Those are probably not going to get added. And I'm actually going to F2 on this. I'm going to say cell underscore navigation. And then I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call this here octree underscore navigation. Okay. And I can still use my area navigation for reference. But under octree navigation, so for instance, here's our cell navigation. This extends a node 3D. There's really not any reason why it can't extend an area 3D. There is one particular interesting issue with this, and that's going to be with odd shaped box, which I don't think we're going to allow. Excuse me. So I would have to create a scene. So I think what I want is create a new script. This is going to be the tree underscore navigation underscore base. Damn keyboard. Tree navigation base. And it is going to inherit area navigation. Should it inherit area navigation? I'm going to say no. It's going to inherit Node 3D. And there's a very specific reason why, and that's to basically hide properties, I think. So we'll inherit Node 3D. We'll just say this is for the template. We'll just go with an empty template. And Octree navigation base create. Okay, so here is our Octree navigation base. It extends a 3D node. It's an at tool, and it's got a class name of Octree navigation. And it's not necessary. Well, I mean, it is Octree navigation, but it's going to be baked, so it's not going to be adjustable outside of runtime. So similar to, and we can go ahead and save this. Well, similar to the area navigation, we are going to have a bake navigation button. And then inside of this here, this is actually going to be quite interesting because there's a few things that we're going to need for the Octree navigation base. We're going to need an actual Octree. We're going to need some Octree cells, and then the type of the cell, I would think. We need the scene that we're going to create. That this here is going to be our actual object that we place into the world, and this here is going to be the this here is Octree navigation base, and so we create a new scene, that is based off of Autry Navigation Base, and the scene name is Autry Navigation. Hit OK there. And the reason why we did that is just to make this next part pretty simple. So in the Autry Navigation, we are going to have let's see if I can do this correctly, an area 3D and a collision shape. So an area 3D and a collision shape 3D. And the collision shape, this collision shape is going to get a box. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit save on this. On our, get rid of this, Autry Navigation Base, we want to we have our navigation sandbox scene. I need to open our navigation sandbox scene and take a look at this. In our navigation sandbox scene, we have the area 3D and the collision shape. Let's get rid of both of these and hit OK, and let us add in our Autry navigation scene. Okay, this is exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to make sure that we cannot directly modify our collision here, although I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to modifying it directly. But we can do is we'll just keep the 3D open here. Let's open up our Autry navigation or Autry shit. This scene's named incorrectly. Autry navigation. Okay, come over here, wait for that to update. There we go. So that's our scene. This here is our Autry navigation base. Why you decide to open down here, I don't know. Let's get rid of the global scope and the collision shape 3D. Okay, so this here is what we have here. So I think what I want to do, we could obviously change the position and everything in here. We could change the scale. I don't necessarily want to change the scale. I think I want to say export there. Area 3D diameter. Area 3D diameter. Equals set area 3D diameter, get area 3D diameter. So I think that these could be functions that I create for this, which I actually technically want. Set area 3D diameter, set get area 3D diameter, set get. Let's go to Godot. Since I don't know exactly how this works, the Godot set get. Godot docs. I'm assuming, see, unlike set get, in previous Godot versions, set and get methods are always called. Okay, here we go. So I don't necessarily care about getting. The only thing I care about is setting, but I think I can say get I can say was one get return, and this part's actually important. This here is actually going to be part of our Octree navigation scene. Okay, this is actually going to be more complicated. So we're going to say, we're going to add a couple functions here. We're going to say func get box shape size, get box shape diameter. Kind of weird, but that's okay. Export var diameter float, and then we'll say func set box shape diameter, and then we'll have a, now let's just hide this for now. We'll have a func for get box shape It's just going to be a box shape 3D. Did this help me? Var box shape equals box shape 3D new. No, that's not it. It's close, but what we actually want, and I'm wondering, I mean, do I put all of the checks in? I mean, I do have basically the checks right here. So we have var box shape, and this is navigation area collision shape. Oops, where did so the navigation collision shape is the collision shape 3D. Oh, this is actually going to be a very important part of what we're doing. Is I need to go into here. So we have the navigation area, which is the area 3D, and then we have the other one, which is the area 3D collision shape 3D. There we go. Now this should technically always be here. So we have those two items now. We're doing a whole bunch of checking here. This isn't necessarily needed. Verbox shape, but I can easily just throw it in here. So if we don't have our navigation area, throw the air. If there's no collision shape, if the collision shape doesn't actually have a shape, push the air. Navigation area collision shape dot shape is if it's not a box shape. So if it was changed for whatever reason, we'll return. And this should actually be a... We'll need to actually return probably... I don't know, none in this case, to be honest. Is none not a thing? I don't know if none's a thing. Is it, what is it, null? So GD script is null. I'm guessing. Now, I could do all of these checks, or I don't think I actually do want to do the checks. I think I want to just let it fail so that if I do something stupid, I could actually figure it out instead of having logs that say stuff and then I have to actually go dig. So here we're going to get the box shape. So here we have the box shape. This here is getting the extents. She goes vector 3, area 3D diameter. I don't know what that's doing. I don't know if that's needed or not, but we'll go ahead and do that. So that gets us our box shape, and we are returning the box shape. So now that we have the box shape, we want to get the box shape diameter. So here we are going to say, I think I just say get box shape dot size dot, I'm just gonna say X. And I'm going to say return. Get rid of this. This one is going to be a little bit different. So what I'm going to say in this case is I'm going to say var, this here is our box shape. And then box shape dot size. Oh, I guess I could just say get box shape dot size. I could just say this and omit this. Okay, so now with the get set, so we would take this property here and, well, I think I could just do that. And would I get rid of that because I'm not actually equaling here? I'm looking over at the code here, and it says that I can do var my prop var 3D diameter float get equals get my property Now, it could just be that expected end of statement after variable declaration found identifier instead. Do I get rid of that? Can I get rid of that? There. Is it because I'm exporting? Am I not allowed to do this with export? Oh. Well, that doesn't seem very nice. How would I do this? Okay. Maybe the export. Maybe there's an export that explains it. Or well, this says that maybe I need to do this. Or maybe the issue is with set value. I don't know. Well, why don't I just do this and just say return underscore get box shape diameter. And then set is a... That's a float. Come on, man. I just want to do the damn code here. Unexpected indent in class body. What must I see here? 804, an exported property with get set must end with a semicolon. Where? You currently have this corrected property declaration. Oh, really? Oh, well, how am I supposed to figure that one out? Okay. That's interesting. Okay. I guess that does actually make sense. Okay, so with that in mind, then I can revert this back to this. And then I could say float. There we go. And so now with that in mind, what am I getting all these errors for? Invalid access to private key shape on base class object type. Size. Autry navigation 13 and 17. Oh, I see. So we're hitting errors. And I'm not entirely sure why we're hitting errors yet. Invalid access to property or key, shape, and size. See here, this here's the shape. It says that this here is an invalid access. We have the area 3D, and then we have the area 3D.collision shape. We have our 3D scene that has the area 3D collision shape, but that is actually on the Octree navigation, area 3D collision shape. That should all be fine. This is the wrong scene. Now this here is the navigation sandbox. Okay. In this script, what are we... Invalid access to property or key size on a base object of type no. The base object being the navigation collision shape, which means our area collision shape 3D is not being pulled. Navigation, our collision shape. Let's just do this here. So our collision shape is nil. Why? On ready, var collision shape 3D. Collision shape 3D. Dot shape is a box, but the collision shape invalid access to property key size on base object of type no. Yeah, I get that. I understand that. What am I missing here? Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, this will hopefully give me a better idea of what's going on here. Here we go. Okay, invalid access to property key object type. No, see, no navigation area detected. No navigation area detected. Okay. So we are a tool. We are our Octree. We extend Node 3D. We are the class name Octree navigation base. We have this here's our navigation scene. We have a Octree navigation scene, which is this one here. Take a look at this in 3D. That does not appear to be problematic. This does appear to be problematic. Let's go ahead and delete this, hit OK, and then grab the scene again, drop it in, and it appears that Bob is our uncle. So now we have our area 3D diameter, so I should be able to adjust this, and that does exactly what I want it to do. Yes. Thank you. Okay, so back to our Octree navigation script here. Now this is, I'm glad that I did all of that work to actually wonder. Is our area 3D? I don't necessarily need to. Again, it's bitrate warnings. What do you mean? Is too what? Too is lower than the recommended bitrate. 1350. Oh well. You're gonna live with what you got. What if I just wanted to render a cube instead of creating an area 3D? Well, or an area 3D with a shape. So I could draw just a wire box, give it the identity vector 3 1, that is probably, and the color. Okay. I just want to try something out really quick here. This here is our Octree navigation. There is our box. Let's just okay, I see. Says I could use a debug draw. Run out of music. Do 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 do. You just come down here and let's do a func draw. The func draw. Let's do a draw underscore wire underscore box. Yo, minimal immediate mesh cube. So Godot doesn't even have something, so this is just ChatGPT hallucinating. Okay, so we know what our problem is. We fixed our problem. We have our 3D scene. It works as expected. I could go in here and modify something like this here. I could probably save that. That's probably not going to do it. No navigation area detected. That's what it says, but I could come over here though, and I could adjust this, and it fits everything. Just Area 3D diameter. Why would that default to 0? Float equals 1 by default. There we go. That's fine. We're gonna have a Bake is gonna handle all of this. So this here is just gonna be, this is basically just for visualization. I don't necessarily like that we're using a area 3D in a collision shape when really all that we technically want to do is display a box, but that's fine, I guess. That's fine. Yeah. Let's go ahead and create a... The thing with a octree is that you have branches and you have leaves. Leaves are generally the end of a branch. And so I'm trying to figure out what I would call an octree cell, for lack of a better word. Because a cell is going to be a branch or a leaf. I'm just going to call it a cell, to be honest. And these are just going to be simple nodes. They don't need to be nodes, I guess, because they don't need to exist on the graph. But it does need to be some sort of data. I don't want it to be a reference, so I want to create a new script. This here is going to be a node. I'm just going to call this, damn it, I disconnected the keyboard again, an Autry node. And it's going to be it's not going to be a node 3D. It's not going to be an object. It's going to be ref counted is what it's going to be. It's not going to be a resource. Yeah, it's going to be ref counted. I don't want it to be a resource. And I don't want it to be a node. So it's going to be a ref counted. Yeah. So we now have our Autry navigation. We have our Autry node. It's a ref counted object, and we're going to go ahead and hit create on this. Now, our node is going to have a particular set of parameters. The first thing that it's going to have is it's going to be a tool. It's going to extend ref counted, and it's going to be a class name of Autry node. This Autry node is going to have, none of these are going to be, well, they are actually going to be export, just so that we can see them. Do we have an export read only? Do export. See here, we have export category. Okay, I see. So this actually just creates a okay. I like the way that this works. So I'll probably do some adjustments here. Export color, no alpha. Export custom. I guess if we want to make it read only, I would override the getter and the setter. And the set wouldn't do anything. But that's not exactly what I want it to do. Actually, that's not entirely true. Because I think if we go to the script on the Autry node, I can create a var. And this is going to be the, I could say extent, but I'm actually going to say, damn it, I keep disconnected. This keyboard pissing me off. This is a bad keyboard design. Var, see here, node extent. Extent is a very bad word. I've used it before. I don't like it. Diameter is really in context of a circle, which I know I used diameter in an export before, so I'll just say extent. Var extent float. See, I'm going to call this the extent backer. Float. And then I'm going to say at, and this is just so I can see stuff in the property inspector. So here I'm going to say float extent float Um, in this particular case, I think I actually want this to come down here. Float. I don't know if I need to set a default here, but I want to say get. Let's just return. We just return extent backer. And I think get needs this. Okay, what are we messing up here? Expected identifier extent in class body. Float equals 1.0. Dang it. Do yes. Property get set. You know, if I was just using C#, this would be a billion frickin' times easier. Why? Give me a different damn document page. No property. Getter, setter. It's giving me the same damn documentation. Where's the original documentation that I went for Godot? You know what? Just give me this. Property. Property. Get set. Good God. Where did I find this page before? Okay. Export there. That's a very okay. And get return backer. Now, do I need to have a setter? Because I don't necessarily want a setter. I just want to be able to see it. So, for instance, this here is our Octree navigation. If we go to 3D and base object of type, no, that's fine. Access to size. I'm having issues with our. Okay, this isn't happening at the moment. What's happening over here? No navigation area detected. No navigation area detected. Well, we know that that's not true because there is a navigation area detected. It's right here. I think that was just a glitch in the system. Okay, so area navigation, Octree node. The Octree node. I don't know if we'll figure out if this is allowed. So we have our Octree node, which will have an extent. We don't know what this particular extent is. But what we know, so that I want to go with Octree node. Let's see here, GD script define constructor. It's not a constructor, it's an init, which gets called with the no. So this here is going to be a func init void, and in this init we're going to get a, I believe, a extent float, and in this particular case we are going to say that our extent backer equals underscore extent. We're gonna have an extent, and we're actually also going to have a position as well. And that is going to be a vector 3F. And this here is just going to be positioned, for lack of a better word. Excuse me. Is it? I think it's vector 3F. Looks like we're going to get some constant errors here. That's fine. We have tool here and area navigation. This is marked as a tool as well. And I think we're going to do kind of the same thing here. We're going to say var position backer. And this here is going to be a vector 3F. What is wrong with this? Cannot find type. Vector 3F. Is it just a vector 3? Yes. And then export var position vector 3 get return and then when we're here, we're going to say position backer equals yeah, we'll just pass these in with the underscores just to make sure that there's no confusion. Okay, so we have our position backer, and we have that. Okay. So this here is our Octree node. So on our node, we have these particular items. And then here we are going to say we'll have a func, and we will call this branch. C#, hello. func branch doesn't return anything. I could do like a 4 each, but I'm not going to do that. Trying to think of where these nodes go. One node is going to go, okay, it's going to be the location of the cell, and the position is going to be the center of the cell. I'll probably come through and change all of these variable names later. It should probably be origin, to be honest, but we'll just call it position. And what I'm actually going to do... we have 8 positions that we want to fulfill out of 2 numbers. Now, there are some options that we have on how to basically write some code that does this more or less efficiency. I could just write everything out, but I don't really want to do that. Where's the fun in that? So maybe what I want... Here we go. I can do 4 Z. You can say delta Z or something. Yeah, delta Z. Or delta Z N, and I want to do a -1 1. Is that valid? It looks like it is. Paste, paste, paste. Tab, tab, tab. Delta Z, Y, X. It doesn't really matter which way I go. Oh, and don't forget your colon, colon, colon. And then I want to say pass. We're not doing anything with it. Okay, so that's valid. That is what I wanted to do. The very first thing that I wanted to do is I want to get the position, not the position, well, yeah, the position of the 1 in 1 1 1. And this is going to be the position inside of the origin, so we'll have to do some adjustments and everything, but that's easy enough. We'll just call this here just call this var init p equals I guess it's going to be the origin and the half extent of the branch. Right? Because if you have your square, you subdivide your square into 8. The 1 1 location into 8. you move it over by half of the branch. So there's a couple actual things that we're going to need here. One is going to be var branch underscore extent equals our extent divided by 2. Divided by 2.0. So that's our branch extent. And then our var branch position offset. That's way too much. We're just going to call this here the P delta, I guess. Delta's probably not the great word, but we'll just go with P delta. Oh, branch extent is a float, and P delta is also a float. And the P delta is going to equal the branch extent divided by 2.0. And then now I could use an array of arrays, or I could just use a simple dictionary. And I think that I'm going to use a simple dictionary. So that means that, and I need to go find the script for our area navigation. Let's just do this here, control copy. And we are going to have under R here, right here, we're going to have a at export var. Now this is branches. I'm going to say children. Or maybe I'll just say nodes. Children would work as well. Now, there are actually some things that... Ooh. This stuff is fine to keep in here. This branching, yeah, I've made a kind of a fatal mistake. Not necessarily a fatal mistake. I mean, we do still want this dictionary here. We don't want to do the branching and the collapsing in here. And the reason why is because there are... we don't want circular references, and we could potentially have a circular reference here if we do it the way that we're doing it, because we, in order to do what we would want, we would actually need to include the octree root into this. So we have an octree navigation, we have an octree node. What we need along with our octree node, which is... This is all fine. We need our octree root, which our octree root is going to be an octree node in itself. So let's create a new script, and you're going to inherit from octree. I'm sure there's probably Ref counted octree node. What other octrees we got in here? Doesn't look like much. So we're going to say octree node. We're going to inherit from octree node. Object empty is fine. This is new script.gd, but this is actually going to be the octree. Sorry. This is actually going to be the octree root. And I'm going to actually save this here. I know I've been doing a lot of development over here. That's fine. Let's bring this. I don't know. This could come over here, hang out, do whatever. I don't care. But let's go ahead and open up our octree node and octree root. And our octree root can come over here. This is also going to be an at tool. Extends the octree node. And it's going to have a class name of octree root. Okay, this is perfect. So this has all of this information. This has its nodes dictionary, which is a vector3i, and it also has, oh shit. Okay, good, that's still there. And so this isn't going to be a nav cell. This is actually going to be a octree node. Control save. Okay, so we're going to come over here. We are going to run through this. We're going to say, well, if you're going to just automatically do everything for me, I'm not really going to complain about that. But we will double check. We have our branch position equals the vector3 position plus the vector3 delta x times p delta bringing our, all of that is correct. So this here is the actual branch position. Our branch node is an octree node with a branch position and the branch extent. That is perfect. And then our branch key is a vector3i of delta x, delta y, and delta z. Nodes with the branch key equals the branch node. If you're gonna do everything for me, why am I even here? This is perfection. Okay, so we have we call it branch. We could say expand, and I don't know. In this particular case, is there a reason we would ever branch? I don't think there is ever a reason to func prone, but if there is, there it is. Oh, right. This is actually important here. We have our branch on the root node, but what we actually need to do is we need to clarify that our branching is going to happen on, and I'm actually going to see if I could coax ChatGPT to do what I want, and I'm going to say func branch octree node. I'm going to say node. And I just want to see if I could coax ChatGPT into doing it for the node rather than yeah, see, this is saying node. So it's doing the exact same stuff. Okay. So we just need to specify. See here. We're going to call this here branch node. And we're going to say prone node. Nodes, by the way, does have a default, so it can clear. So we are going to say node.nodes.clear identifier node not declared in the current scope. I know you think that it's not. Oh, right. That's because it's not. And then see here, branch extent equals node.extent. Oh, maybe it did do this for me because it's not just doing extent, it's doing node.extent. P delta is going to be based off of the branch extent, XYZ. Branch position equals the node dot position plus delta, and then the branch node equals octree new. What are we complaining about here? Oh, it's shadowed. Oh, because we have branch node. This is branch node. We'll just say, instead of branch node, maybe we'll say new node. New node. I do see how that can be confusing. Branch node should be what it's called, but branch node is also the name of the function. So, new node, octree, branch node. I believe that this is correct. So now we can branch a node, we can prune a node. And now what I'm trying to do now what I want to do is I want to know, now that we have our octree, I can say at export there is leaf bool it doesn't have a backer, but it does have a get and return nodes.size equals 0. So that will tell us if it is a leaf or not. Then our octree node or our octree root extends the class octree node, which is fine. Interesting. Our octree root. I wonder if we should throw some defaults on our Octree route, not some defaults, but some properties on our Octree route, we could still make them accessible from the parent. Not having to do some weird stuff, but I think there's some defaults that we could set. For instance, we can say at export var. Now this says max depth. I don't actually want to do max depth. Well, that's not entirely true. Let's go ahead and throw a max depth in there. And a max extent, because that's what I actually initially wanted, was max extent. The max depth actually makes a lot of sense here. Now, we obviously have a branch node. We don't know the depth of a node. We can know the depth of a node. I think now I'm running into where do I want to put the control of this? Should this max depth should probably live in the Octree navigation, and the min extent should probably live in the Octree navigation. I don't know if I want to store depth values inside of the navigation tree. We're probably eventually going to want to pass more data down into our leaf, but for now, I'm pretty certain that I don't want this to be here. These are easy functions for branching a node that can live inside of here, inside of the Octree root. Although, with that said, it doesn't make a lot of sense for this to be inside of the Octree root. We could just kill the Octree root, put an Octree node under Octree navigation base, so in this particular case, we can say at export var. I've been doing a lot of read-only stuff. Excuse me. At export var, I'll call this here the Octree root. Octree node equals Octree node vector 3 0. Now that's not actually, I don't know what that second number is. This is actually not true. This here is going to be a read only. Our var Octree root is going to be an Octree node, which will default to 0. However, bake navigation will kill the Octree. We'll say that Octree root. See here. Let's do this here. Area 3D diameter. Let's do this here. And this here is going to be at export category Autry settings. Autry root equals Autry node new, which this here says vector 3 0. What is new? Area 3D diameter divided by 2. No, this is going to be the area 3D diameter. Which, you know, I call this extent. Extent really isn't the correct term to use. I mean, it kind of is. It's not helpful. I may adjust this. I probably should adjust this to be the radii extent. It would be a lot more easier to work with, technically. But the area 3D diameter is getting the box shape diameter, and then it's going. This is vector 3 0. But this is actually going to be the world position. Well, this is actually a very good question. Well, it's never going to move. And it's going to be a matter of world position. Now we can convert. Yeah, no, let's just bake it at its proper location, and its proper location is going to be the navigation area dot position, global position, I believe. Global position, translation of this node in global space relative to the world. Yeah, global position. So our Autry root is going to be the global position and our area 3D diameter. Now, whether this is correct or not, this is area 3D diameter. This should actually be like this should in itself probably be the extent as well, instead of area 3D diameter. So our very first step is to bake navigation. Now what we do from this point here is now we start traversing the tree. And we're on the Autry navigation base. There's going to be a few things that we're going to need to define, such as water and like the water surface and what air is, and some others. Not necessarily air. Air is easy. If it doesn't collide with anything, then you're in the air, obviously. But yeah, I think that this here is a better route to go than the cellar route that I was going. Just do a sparse voxel Autry. And we could say, I mean, what we could say here is we could basically bring the shape down to as small as we want. And if there are no collisions inside of a cell, then we can say, all right, this is the leaf of the cell. There's no collisions. And we could break a cell all the way down to as far as we want, to a minimum extent or a max resolution, basically. And I think we can get some pretty good navigation results, although it's going to be interesting traversing the tree to resolve navigation. But it really shouldn't be that bad, because you're really just picking a random point potentially inside of the tree, doing a couple checks. Yeah, we're good. Alright guys, it's getting pretty late. It's almost 1 a.m. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here. Oh, Almo, how did I not see chat? How long ago was that? I'm sorry, give me the timestamp. How'd I miss you? Oh, I missed you by a whole damn hour. Holy shit. Well, that's my bad. I'm working on some custom navigation. Godot has navigation built in for I know you're probably not here anymore, but Godot has navigation built in for an area, but it's only for 2D stuff. I have some flying creatures, so I'm probably going overkill on navigation. But hey, it's something I've never done before, something I want to have fun with, whether it's optimized or not. I move forward with that. So, but yeah, it's 1 a.m. just about. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Peace.